more than the greatest love the world has known. This is the love that I give to you alone. More than the simple words I try to say, I only live to love you more each day. More than you'll ever know, my arms long to hold you, so my life will be in your keeping, waking, sleeping, laughing, weeping, longer than always is a long, long time, but far beyond forever, you'll be mine. I know I never lived before, and my heart is very sure.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Kohler. I'm the president of the Construction Association of Michigan. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to CAM's 137th annual meeting. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. On a somber note, before we begin today, I'd like to take a moment of silence for the students of Michigan State University, for their parents, and the faculty and all of the first responders who responded to that horrific incident yesterday. Thank you. I'd also like to begin today's program by thanking the sponsors of our luncheon today, and they include our friends at the Michigan Building and Construction Trades Council, MUST Management and Union Serving Together, Cement Masons BAC Local 2 and Cement Masons OPC MIA 514, our Friends of Laborers Local 1076 and 1191, the Michigan Regional Council of Carpenters and Operating Engineers Local 324. Let's hear it for our sponsors. I also want to note the sponsors of our trade show today, and they include Sherwin-Williams, CG Financial, Miss Dig, International Building Products, Lake Michigan Credit Union, The Safety Source, and Crystal Clear Solutions. Let's hear it for them, and please take some time to go through these exhibits next door. We have a pretty busy schedule today, and I'm going to stick to it. The agenda's on your table. We're already behind. Obviously, 12:45, we're going to do the keynote address. That's what we're working on now. We'll go into our keynote address shortly, probably a little later than 12:45. We're close to it. And then we'll follow that up with our special issue magazine awards, and we'll complete the day with the business portion of our annual meeting. So please stick around for the whole thing. It will be action-packed. One other quick call out. On your tables, we have a flyer for a program that CAM's putting on. It's going to be held in Warren on March 9th. It's an all-day program, and it's about the future of work and building your team. We've got some great, very knowledgeable presenters that'll be presenting, and take the time to look at that, fill it out, send some people, send your key players to that. It'll be a great event. We would appreciate your participation in it. Okay, without a further ado, why don't we roll the annual meeting report video.
Good afternoon, I'm Josh Barney, Vice President of J.J. Barney Construction, and CAM's 2022 Chairman of the Board. Today we celebrate the 137th annual meeting of the Construction Association of Michigan, and its 138 years of service to Michigan's construction industry. In last year's annual meeting video, Sam talked of a sense of unease, and encouraged members to stay focused and remain resilient. He mentioned new challenges like inflation, material cost increases, supply chain issues, COVID variants, and continued labor shortages. As we ramp up for 2023, we're still seeing increased inflation, high material costs, rising interest rates, labor shortages, and geopolitical turmoil, with all indicators pointing to a recession. But the good news for the construction industry is the backlog of work, which is expected to last for the next couple of years. With the passage of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act and stimulus from COVID-19 relief, there are billions of dollars available to modernize roads, bridges, and energy production. But we need to attract approximately 600,000 new workers to meet the demand. It's clear that the market is changing, and we've got to prepare to change with it. Which brings us to our theme for this 137th CAM annual meeting, the challenge of change. If you're going to rise to the challenge, you have to be prepared to change. Speaking of change, please watch this short video about my company, J.J. Barney Construction, and how we have risen to the challenge of change and are over 93 years in business. CAM has developed a conference to help our members address the changes in the workforce. Called The Future of Work, Build Your Team, the conference features qualified presenters that will address best hiring practices, creating a more inclusive company culture, prioritizing mental health for all workers, setting up a successful hybrid work environment, and much more. Taking place on March 9th at Macomb Community College, the event is designed to help your company recruit new employees, retain your best team players, and rejuvenate your workforce. Anyone with a responsibility for hiring and managing people will benefit from attending. Register today. The information is on your table. In addition, today's keynote speaker, Jim Bitterly, will address effective tools, strategies, and processes for attracting, developing, and retaining talent in your organization. Jim is the author of the book, Unquittable: Finding and Keeping the Talent You Need. You'll meet Jim shortly. I'd also like to thank the CAM Board of Directors for their continued commitment and guidance. Now, here's your 2022 CAM Board of Directors. With the guidance and cooperation of the Board of Directors, the Construction Association of Michigan continues to push forward and deliver quality programming, advocacy, and support to our membership. As an industry and as an association, we will continue to embrace the challenge of change and rise to that challenge. As you will see in our 2022 annual report, your association has worked hard to monitor industry trends and stay focused on producing timely and relevant information to support the interests of the CAM membership. I'm proud of CAM's 2022 performance. We worked hard to keep the association moving forward. In February, CAM, in conjunction with the Home Builders Association of Southeast Michigan, hosted the Great Lakes Design and Construction Expo. More than 1,400 construction professionals attended the one-day event, featuring 132 exhibit booths displaying a vast array of products and services. The day began with the annual Economic Forecast Breakfast, featuring National Association of Home Builders Assistant Vice President of Forecast and Analyst Danushka Skillington. Ms. Skillington presented information regarding the 2023 economic outlook, including inflation rate changes, interest rates, supply chain issues, and the construction industry's labor shortage. CAM's 136th annual meeting luncheon was also held at the show. Over 500 CAM members packed the Diamond Ballroom to hear keynote speaker Bob Armbruster, president of Spark Business, discussing innovation and technology in construction. During the annual meeting, CAM Magazine's special issue Project Award winners were celebrated, and Michigan State University's STEM Teaching and Learning Facility was selected as the 2021 CAM Project of the Year. CAM Magazine, the voice of the construction industry, is the premier print and digital publication covering industry news and information in Michigan's construction industry. With thousands of print and digital subscriptions, CAM Magazine remains the best place to advertise in our industry. In June, CAM and the Home Builders Association of Southeastern Michigan presented the sold-out mid-year economic forecast and State of the Industry breakfast at the Suburban Collection Showplace. Attendees were treated to the antics of the bow-tie economist, internationally acclaimed Elliot Eisenberg, Ph.D. The program also featured the Multifamily Rental Construction Forum, presented by the Apartment Association of Michigan. CAM continues to make the adoption and implementation of new technology a priority. In the last several years, we transitioned to a new virtual plan room service, redesigned our website, moved our data to a cloud-based system allowing for online payment and event registration, and rolled out the CAM mobile app. The app, which allows users to search the Construction Buyer's Guide, register for events, and stay current on industry news, celebrated its second anniversary in October. Since the launch, downloads of the app have steadily increased, resulting in thousands of impressions. Search the App Store for the CAM Buyer's Guide app and download it today. New for 2022, we launched the CAM Community. The Community is a social media platform designed to provide a space for CAM members to create and share content, participate in virtual events, and network with other CAM members. Over 600 individuals have activated their account. To access the community, simply log into your CAM member account, select Connect, and then Community. Since its launch over 20 years ago, the Construction Buyer's Guide website has been used by thousands of individuals seeking contractors and suppliers. New for 2023, CamBuyersGuide.com has been redesigned to create a user-friendly format. Each member company now has their own landing page that is indexed by Google, which improves search results and drives more traffic to CAM members. Be sure to check it out. We faced an uphill battle trying to recruit during the pandemic. However, as of November 30th, we've added 95 new member companies and reinstated membership for 70 canceled members. For those of you who continue to support the association and the industry, thank you. Please do us the honor of recommending membership to your subcontractors and suppliers. As Michigan's construction market continued to be impacted by supply chain issues and an uncertain economic outlook, our construction news reporters provided information on more than 5,500 actively bidding project opportunities and reported on over 500 jobs in the conceptual or design phase. More than 90% of our projects included documents. We were proud to participate in and sponsor several industry events in 2022. In March, we exhibited at the Michigan Green Industry Association Annual Expo and the Institute of Real Estate Management Trade Show. In May, we sponsored the Operating Engineers Local 324 Construction Career Days and the Construction Science Expo. Both events introduced students to careers in construction. In July, we supported the 4th annual Big Dig of Michigan fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, hosted by Operating Engineers Local 324. In September, we proudly co-hosted the Building Connections event, which raised over $170,000 for scouting programs in Michigan, and we supported the AIA Detroit Celebration of Architecture. In October, we continued our involvement and support of the Michigan Construction Hall of Fame at Ferris State University and proudly supported the induction of CAM board member Frank Jonah into the hall. The Training and Education Center at CAM provided instruction to over 300 individuals. Courses included First Aid CPR AED training, Residential and Light Commercial Print Reading, Confined Space Training, Construction Liens and Bonds, Prevailing Wage Compliance, OSHA 10 and 30-hour training, and more. Don't miss another opportunity for professional development. In 2022, we released 6 more episodes of the Building Michigan podcast. Topics included the economy, the services available from CAMComp, our workers' compensation program, an overview of the ACE Mentor program, and a discussion of the current state of our workforce with our friends from HR Pro, a local provider of human resource services. We're always looking for new participants and podcast sponsors. Contact us for more information and download the Building Michigan podcast from wherever you get your podcasts. Over 1,000 members and their guests participated in several successful and sold-out networking opportunities, including 4 golf outings,
Oh,
2 sporting clay shoots, the Building Connections Boy Scout fundraiser, a European pheasant hunt, and our popular Woodward Dream Cruise barbecue. We're constantly adding new events to our 2023 calendar and hope to see you there. Under my direction and the board of directors, we reinitiated our successful Construction Industry Roundtable series. We held 2 sold-out events in 2022. In June, the Roundtable addressed how to win the war for talent by managing personnel and organizational diversity. And in October, panel experts discussed insights on increasing enterprise value in any market environment. Both events featured industry experts and allowed business owners to interact and ask questions. Matt Gerwin of Doran Mayhew moderated both events. In its 20th year, CAM's Labor Relations Program continued to be the premier provider of labor services in Michigan. This past year, we successfully negotiated a new 3-year collective bargaining agreement with our partners at Cement Masons BAC Local 2 and OPC MIA Local 514. In addition to keeping our union contractors informed, we produced and distributed the annual CAM Southeast Michigan Wage Directory and the ever-popular Workplace Laws job site poster. The CAM Government Affairs Committee remained committed to identifying, shaping, and promoting pro-business and pro-construction policies and legislation on behalf of CAM's membership. Our primary initiatives included workforce and prompt pay legislation. In May, CAM President Kevin Kohler, along with association partners and contractors, testified before the Michigan Senate in support of our prompt pay legislation, Senate Bill No. 1020, the Michigan Construction Payment Act.
Delinquent payment is a real problem in the construction industry, and legislation is definitely needed to ensure that money flows as it is intended from the private owner to the contractor to the subcontractor and through the supply chains. This is not a union, non-union issue. This is an industry-wide problem. This legislation is intended to improve the flow of funds to those who furnish and pay for the labor and materials in private construction projects. This legislation is about fairness. If the work is completed to your satisfaction, pay on a timely basis. This keeps our contractors healthy and whole, allows them to reinvest in their employees, to reinvest in their companies, and to reinvest in their communities. A successful contractor makes for a successful industry.
Witnesses provided compelling testimony as to the problems resulting from unreasonably delinquent payment for satisfactory completed work. Check out the complete testimony on the CAM website. On October 14th, we hosted our 7th annual legislative breakfast. 4 state legislators served as panelists moderated by CAM lobbyist Jason Wadaga of KDA. Once again, several contractors, associations, and unions sponsored the event. Another priority was, and still is, to keep all members informed on legal issues and developments impacting our industry. All of this information is available on the CAM website, buildwithcam.com, and in our biweekly CAM e-newsletter. Sign up today. The 3 industry partners who help serve our membership, CAM Benefit Program, Priority Health, CAM Workers' Compensation Program, CAMCOMP, and the Construction Federal Credit Union, CFCU, continue to operate at the highest level and provide outstanding member value. CAM's endorsed health insurance provider, Priority Health, offers a wide range of plan design options to fit most any employer's needs, and backs it up with outstanding customer service, competitive pricing, and great network access. 97% of primary doctors participate with Priority Health. Its self-insured, optimized level-funded option for groups of 2 to 50 enrolled can deliver lower rates than traditionally fully insured plans. This allows employers to share in their group's good experience by returning a portion of unused claims dollars to their employer if their claims are lower than expected. Priority Health is the 2nd largest health insurance provider in Michigan, with 1.2 million members across the state. The Construction Association of Michigan Workers' Compensation, CAMCOMP plan, is a group self-insurance program designed for and operated by your peers in the construction industry. CAMCOMP serviced over 300 CAM members across the state, covering more than 4,000 employees. CAMCOMP's purpose is a clear one: to provide members with affordable, comprehensive, and trusted workers' compensation coverage. This year, CAMCOMP members received an 18% average dividend return, equal to $2.2 million. Several members received checks that amounted to more than their 2022 workers' comp premium. Through member commitment to safety, CAMCOMP's loss ratios have averaged 29% for the past 5 years, well below Michigan's industry benchmark. In 2022, Construction Federal Credit Union, CFCU, continued to achieve the coveted 5-star superior rating, which puts it in an elite category as one of the strongest credit unions in the nation. The credit union closed over $5.5 million in mortgage loans. Our new enhanced website features online banking, mobile banking, and remote deposit capabilities. Please visit us online at cfcuonline.com. CFCU is a member of the NCUA and an equal housing lender. I am honored and humbled to have served as CAM's 2022 Chairman of the Board. As you have just seen in our annual report, I am equally as proud of our many accomplishments. In closing, I encourage everyone to take advantage of all that CAM has to offer. Join us at an event. Take advantage of CAM's education and safety programs. Download our mobile app. Log into the CAM community and check out what projects are bidding in the plan room. Just get engaged. You have my word, CAM will continue to serve its membership to the best of its ability, to advocate, legislate, and educate. It's been a pleasure to serve as CAM's 122nd Chairman of the Board. I wish you all future growth and success. One industry, one resource, one can.
The time may change me. I can chase time.
Pretty cool video. Thank you, George Zaborski. Let's hear it for him. Good job. Okay, it is now my honor to introduce today's keynote speaker, talent strategist Jim Bitterly. Jim is a managing partner at EDSI and has 34 years of corporate leadership and management consulting experience. He is currently spearheading EDSI's efforts to help clients optimize their organizations to support growth, diversification, and cultural improvement. As a part of these efforts, Jim has authored a new book. It's called Unquittable: Finding and Keeping the Talent You Need, and we all need to do that. Prior to his consulting career, Jim spent 11 years as an executive leading both domestic and international business units for multinational corporations such as Flint Inc. and Gibson Musical Instruments. Jim holds a bachelor's degree from Michigan State University and an MBA from the Kellogg School at Northwestern University. Today, Jim will address effective tools, strategies, and processes for attracting, developing, and retaining talent in your organization. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jim Bitterly.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you all. One thing Kevin didn't say is I spent a number of years doing turnaround work. And something became apparent to me a number of years ago, and that was, it was always about the people, right? The talent that you had in your organization. But what I started to see was companies started to fail to survive, to grow, and to thrive, just simply based on not having the talent that they need, and in many cases losing some of their critical talent. And what we've seen over the years is that issue is getting worse and worse and worse. So I finally got to the point where I said, well, why is it some of these companies are thriving and some are failing? And what we did is we wrote the book Unquittable largely to address, hey, look, you can fail, you can do what you've always done, or you can copy some of the basic things that we're seeing other organizations do and thrive. Real quick example, if you look at retail as an industry, they actually have the highest level of turnover of any industry out there. And yet you look at a Costco, and Costco has 6% turnover. Why? Right? They're doing things differently. They have a wait list of people trying to get a job at that organization in an industry that has a huge vacancy rate of open positions. So with that, let's just talk a little bit about where we've been, where we are, and ultimately I want to get to what do we need to do to make sure that you thrive and succeed. So first of all, if you go back to 2017, we hit an inflection point in this country. It was the first time since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution that we had more jobs than we had people, right? Qualified workers. So it was pretty earth-shattering. And for somebody like me that's a baby boomer, my first job out of college, I felt like, A, I was very lucky to get that job. And B, there were a lot of things in the organization I worked for that I didn't like. But my job was to keep my head down, shut up, work hard, and put up with the things I didn't like. Things have changed. It doesn't work that way anymore. So I want to talk about that. If you look at this chart that I've just put up, you look at that blue line, that's the last 23 years. Those are the number of open positions in this country. And you can see that we had a couple of dips. Anytime you have a recession, it takes some steam out of the kettle, right? But the overall trend is up and up and up. And right now we're at 10.3 million open positions in this country, which is a record. And oh, by the way, over the next decade, we will continue to set new records. So to me, I have a hard time with that number, 10.3 million. What does that mean? I can't put that into perspective. If you look at all of these companies, look at the logos of these companies, right? Huge companies. If you took every employee that they have in the United States, it adds up to 9.3 million. So can you imagine every one of these companies and every one of their positions vacant and add another million to that? That's what we're looking at in this country right now. It's a very, very serious issue. So what's really going on behind the scenes? We're losing 4 million baby boomers every year. And then during the heart of the pandemic, in a 6-month period, we lost an extra 3 million baby boomers from our workforce. Why? It's pretty obvious, right? The real estate values went up, their 401s went up. They just felt wealthier, right? At the end of the day, that's what happened. And many of them didn't want to go back to work. They were the higher risk category, right? If you were an older person during COVID, you were at greater risk than people younger than you. So we lost a chunk of these folks that aren't coming back. We also lost 1 million women out of the workforce. Today, we don't know if they're going to come back. There's no good evidence suggesting that we're going to get those 1 million women back into the workforce. So there's something else that has been going on that people don't talk about a whole lot in terms of the impact that we're having in general. But for 6 or 7 years now, our immigration, our net immigration into this country has been going down. We're down 70% from where we were just 7 years ago. And in the construction industry, right, that impacts you guys significantly. But here's where it gets a little bit scarier. And what I want you to do is I want you to have a sense of, this is a real issue, you all know that, right? But it's got to be a priority, and it's got to be a key priority. I think when we look at the big issues for construction, when you look at supply chain issues, you look at cost issues, and some of the other headwinds that you're facing right now, they're gonna pass. This talent-related issue that exists today is not gonna pass soon. But you can be empowered to do something about it, right? The Bureau of Labor Statistics just told us in their newest study that what's going to happen is jobs are going to grow in this country over the next decade by 8.3 million. Unfortunately, the labor force is only going to grow 7.7 million, which is, we got another 600,000 people or positions that we're not going to be able to fill. So some real headwinds with labor in this country. And to make it worse, right? You can tell by looking at me, I'm a baby boomer. And you look at these different generations, and we find it becomes very complex to create a great organization where people are engaged, where our turnover levels are low, and where people are really involved in your organization. And we can see just really in the last decade, we saw a period of time where baby boomers were the majority of our workforce. We had a very short period of time where Gen Xers were the majority of our workforce. And now millennials are the majority of our workforce. Yet we have a pretty good mix within our workforce. And, it is what it is, right? That's what most people say to me, what can you do about it? Well, people really underestimate the real significant differences among generations. If you went back 200 years or earlier, they didn't even identify generations. It wasn't even something that people talked about, right? And somebody might grow up and have a very similar upbringing and life that their parents had, that their grandparents had, that their great-grandparents had. You look at kids today and ask yourself, is their current environment anything like what you grew up in, right? It's not even close. I laugh because phones are just one minor example. That phone on the left was in my dad's house when he was a kid. You had to take the earpiece off, you had to crank it, and then you talk to a switchboard operator. The black one, although the one in my house was a rotary dial, you could only get as much privacy as you had length of cord, right? So you could sneak off into the broom closet and talk to whomever without everybody in the family listening to you. But it was also a huge step in the right direction in terms of communications, because you could call anybody in the world that had a phone just like that, just by dialing numbers. And then all of a sudden we got into mobile phones, right? You see that Motorola Razr, most millennials, that might have been their first really good phone. I remember the first time I got a Razr, it was like, oh, this thing is amazing. You can take pictures, it memorizes phone numbers, which is, for me, the end of remembering anybody's phone number. And then you look at these kids today, and they're walking around with handheld computers, right? Who in this room does not have a smartphone, right? They're amazing machines. And that's just an example of the differences in these generations. But there's one thing that's really critical that you need to truly understand. Millennials are the biggest part of your workforce today. Gallup did a study, and they looked at, well, what do the different generations look for when they're looking for a job? And they found there were two areas that were fundamentally different with millennials versus other generations. One of them, this first one, is the opportunity to learn and grow. And so what we found out is the behavioral scientists dug into this, and they tried to figure out why do they want to keep learning and growing? And why is this more important to them than to say Gen Xers or Boomers? It's because they grew up in a world that was changing so quickly that if they didn't continue to learn, they would fall behind. And falling behind gives a sense of alienation. A feeling of alienation is a very strong negative human emotion. It's also a strong motivator. So we have younger people that have a much higher fundamental need to learn and grow. The other thing that the Gallup poll found was this opportunity for advancement. This need was much higher. And the behavioral scientists have told us this is why. What happens is these kids grow up playing video games, right? And when you play a video game, you play a level, you beat that level, you get this dopamine release in your brain, you beat the next level, you get a dopamine release in the brain. You become a little drug addict, the brain chemistry. And if you get a game where you can't beat the level, what do? You stop playing that game and you find a different one. It's exactly what happens to these younger workers in your workplace. If they don't beat the level and they don't get that dopamine release at some point, they're off to find another game to play, right? So when we think about, when I think about construction, now we have a whole different set of issues. I think you have some amazing issues and opportunities at the same time. So when we think about your reputation in the workplace, we have some things to think about, right? Younger people think that it's really physically demanding, and that turns many younger people off. They think it's difficult work, okay? It is what it is, but you also have these incredible headwinds. When you think about what's going on, you have parents that are encouraging kids not to go into the industry, right? They want to go to college. They want every kid to go to college and become a doctor. Schools are incentivized to get kids to college. So we've got that headwind fighting us. And then lastly are just those perceptions of opportunities. Opportunities, again, going back to what I just showed you from Gallup, and pay. So the reality is those sort of ideas and perceptions of the industry are not entirely correct, as you all know. So if I just kind of touch on just a few critical things for the industry, you've got turnover that's 62%. Nationally, turnover rates are 47%. By the way, turnover rates today are 3 times higher than what they were 6 years ago across the board, which is crazy, right? And we've kind of seen it with the pandemic. And your rates in construction are quite high, right? But not the highest. 5% of positions are unfilled, according to the data, which I think is laughable, because I talked to an owner of a company that builds decks, and he's got 10 crews, and I just said, how many open positions do you have? And he just gave me this funny look. And he's like, Jim, A, I don't post for open positions, and B, I could put 20 more crews to work and fill up the schedule instantly if I had those workers. And so what we see is the data that shows us the number of vacant positions in construction. It's not even close, because the vast majority of certainly mid-sized and smaller companies aren't even posting for these jobs because they know it's a waste of time and money because they can't get the people. So a couple more things that are hitting us, right? We've got an aging workforce. It's going up a little bit, but that certainly does not help us with these long-term trends. And then just lastly, we know that the labor pipeline is insufficient. and that there's headwinds that do exist. So you can be like any other organization out there and you can say, I don't know what to do about it, it's just the way things are. Or you can be very intentional about doing the things that work. There are organizations, I guarantee you, that are thriving today and not struggling with the labor issues that everybody else is struggling with in the construction industry, right? And that's because they figured out the key. And what we learned is when we did research and we talked to hundreds of different organizations that we work with around the country, we learned that there are basic things that everybody is doing, those companies that are winning the war for talent. So the first thing, and I want to talk about this, imagine a 100,000-foot view of this. These organizations have made talent management a key strategic priority, right? Google, there was a point in time where Google had 1,000 applicants for every open position they had. Can you imagine what a great problem to have that would be, right? But every company listed up there is a company that has made talent management a key strategic priority. But then, when we go down to 50,000 feet, what are they doing more specifically, right? You know, hey, HR is not just an HR department. It's a talent management department. And their job is strategic within our organization. So the first thing that we see that's the dominant among all of these companies that are really successful here is they build a desirable culture. If you think about building a desirable culture, it's not just letting your culture evolve, because every culture, I bet in every one of your organizations has evolved to be where it is. It's probably got some great stuff, and it might have some not so great stuff, and everything in between. Great companies are intentional about designing a culture and then working towards achieving that culture. You may never get there, but you're always striving to create that ideal culture for your organization. The other thing that we see that I think is a huge challenge for all of you in this room is flexibility. All of these organizations have found ways to create some flexibility in their organization. It's hard to do. And people ask me, well, what should we do? There's no silver bullet. You have to do what works for your organization. And in some companies, that might mean different departments have different flexibility programs. It just has to be perceived as fair. What I'm seeing with some companies that struggle with being able to implement real flexibility systems is what they're doing is they're just adding more PTO, right? They're allowing people to have a little bit more PTO so they can create their own flexibility when they need it. The other thing is growth opportunities. I work with a company that installed fiber optic lines. And this particular company lost 80% of all their installers within the first year and a half. And the reason was that these people, these young workers that came in as installers just didn't see career growth opportunities. And I'll talk about how you can deal with that and fix that issue. The last thing is a purpose. Younger workers don't want to work for a company where it's just all about making money. Yes, there are some that do. You'll find some of those people. But the vast majority want to work for an organization that is about something bigger than just making money. So when you look at this screen, when you look at those companies that are killing it, that are doing a great job in talent management in all kinds of different industries, these are 4 common pillars that surround the talent management as a key strategic strength. Now, there's one other thing that has come up that's unique to today, and that is money. In 2022 was the first time that we've ever seen that the reason people are leaving jobs and taking other jobs, the first time ever that money was the #1 reason. They were leaving to make more money elsewhere. Typically, it doesn't even fall in the top 3. So be careful with where you're at from a compensation standpoint. We're doing a lot more comp analysis for organizations simply because people are like, we don't know why we can't get anybody. We thought we were competitive, and people are leaving for 20% more and they're going elsewhere. It's a real issue. It's all over the place. So let's just talk a little bit about pipeline and culture, because I want you to walk out of here thinking, I want you to be empowered, right? You got to know that these issues exist. You all feel it every day. But there are very specific things you can do. We know that the industry has struggled with some reputational issues, right, that hurt us in terms of really driving young people into the industry. So there's a certain amount that you can do, and certainly Kevin and his team can help the industry with this. But you can really focus on your own company's reputation. And that's what we see a lot of great organizations doing. They may be in an industry that's a struggle, right? But they're focused on creating their own, what we call employer brand. And so what your employer brand is, your reputation as a place of employment. If I gave everybody in your company sodium pentothal, which is truth serum, and asked them, what's it like to work in your organization? I'm going to hear some good things, I'm going to hear some bad things, I'm going to hear everything in between. Those common themes, though, are your brand in the workplace. So if you have a really poor employer brand, you're going to struggle to attract and retain people, right? If you have a great reputation, you're going to get all kinds of referrals of people that want to work in your organization. I want to give you one just quick thing that you should do. When you get home tonight or sometime over the next week, go to Glassdoor and Indeed and look at your scores. What kind of scores are your employees and past employees giving your organization? On Glassdoor, for example, companies get a score from 1 to 5. Average is 3.5. And there's a direct correlation between the number of applications companies get and their score. So if you're at 3.5, which is average, or below, you're probably getting half of the applications that you should get. Younger people won't even apply. They'll look at a company, they'll look at the Glassdoor score, they won't even apply to your organization if it's a 3.5 or below. They won't even apply there. So you can focus on that. There's some very specific tools, by the way, to bump that number up fairly quickly. Referral bonuses. We see great companies using referral bonuses really effectively, but half the companies don't use them. The other half that have them say, oh, it'll work. There's some basic rules. Referral bonuses are everywhere among those that are really doing well. You have to start, it can't be less than $500. And nowadays, it's got to be more like $1,000 or above. In the tech world, I've seen companies with referral bonuses exceeding $20,000, right? So it's got to be simple, right? Keep the rules simple. Hey, you referred the person, they made it past probation, you get paid. It's that simple, right? And you have to celebrate it when you do it. When you pay somebody out, make sure everybody knows, right? And constantly remind and reinforce that you have that particular program in place. They're really effective if you do it right. Internships. I would love, just by show of hands, how many of your organizations use interns? Okay, good, good. Most organizations that we work with do a really poor job with internships. It's just one of those things. We bring them in, they don't have a lot of skills, they don't have a lot of knowledge, they're inexpensive, and we treat them as such. If you look at great or highly desirable internship programs, you'll see certain things that are very common. They will have mentors, somebody that mentors them while they're there, very specific and real responsibilities, right? They're included in meetings so they learn about your organization. Interns can be incredibly valuable to your organization. I've also seen organizations reaching out to local high schools because every counselor knows those kids that are not college material or not ready for college yet, that are looking for maybe something else, right? Some of these kids may turn out to be brilliant kids. They're just not ready for college. But you put them into your world, they might be a great person for you as an intern. Maybe they go off to college and come back to you in some form of management or something else, or engineering. I want to talk a little bit about career paths. Career paths are absolutely critical to have documented and communicated in your organization. And there's two types. There are career ladders, which go straight up a function. This is a manufacturing example, but imagine you come into a job and you go straight up whatever function you're working in. And then there are lattices, which means, you know what, I've been working as a carpenter for a while, and I don't really enjoy this. But if if I'm in a great organization and I have opportunities to maybe move into something else, instead of leaving the organization, I may stay there and take a lateral move to learn another skill or trade, right? Lattice's, a real quick example, distributor that we were working with that sells into your industry, they had 80% turnover in the first year of their people working in the warehouse. And as soon as they implemented career paths and career lattices, that number went down to about 17% turnover of those people. Because what they found are these good kids that come in, that are motivated, that will show up on time, and they're reliable and have a good attitude. They would tell them day one, if you don't like this job, we're going to have you work here for 6 months. And after 6 months, if you don't like this, we're going to look for alternatives for you in other parts of the company. And it totally changed the dynamic of turnover in their organization. Opportunities to learn and grow. Remember, we heard that from the Gallup study. Building your own corporate university doesn't have to be like back in the day when we had GMI, right? When General Motors literally built a physical university to train engineers. You know, there's still tons of really large physical corporate universities. But what we're seeing now is these really good organizations have virtual corporate universities where they have all the training. So you get trained when you join the company and you're on board. You get trained every time you're promoted. You get trained along the way about simple things like what is our culture in our organization? What's important to our customers? You know, what are our competitors doing that we need to be aware of? So it really comes down to, as a group, kind of prioritizing and investing in training. It's going to be, it is the future, and we're seeing more and more activity and dollars being spent in this space. A couple more things. Stay interviews. Stay interviews have become really important, and it's a tool for you for continuous improvement. You should have every supervisor and manager talking to the people, right? There should be regular check-ins on a regular basis. But every 6 months, do a stay interview. And just ask, hey, if I'm the manager, what can I do better? What can we do better? What do you like about this company? What don't you like? What happens when you start to do this consistently is you hear common themes. So you'll learn what do we need to build on because it's a strength. And what are the things we need to start fixing? This one organization we worked with recently, they have very high turnover in one area. And what we learned from the stay interviews is that the manager in that department was sort of, you know, in their words, a Nazi. So at the end of the day, right, they addressed the issue of they had that person was in the wrong role. They never should be leading people because they just weren't a good manager. They're losing people. So stay interviews are critical. Last thing I want to talk about with you is measure what you're doing. You can measure your culture. You can measure your talent environment. Create a talent dashboard because you get what you measure. And in this particular example, right, I show a number of metrics, you know, the Glassdoor score, you know, how is that coming along? How many employee departures do we have? What's our morale level, which you can measure? There's one question that you can ask. What's our engagement level? There's one question, the Employee Net Promoter Score. And you can measure these things. So you can see as you progress through time and make changes to become a better, more appealing organization, you'll see, am I moving the needle on this stuff? Am I improving my organization? Am I improving my brand? Are people becoming more engaged or not? Am I doing the wrong things? Right? It gives you that sense of, hey, we're working on the right stuff, we're doing the right stuff or not. So make sure you put together a dashboard. There are lots of other things that you can be doing. I wanted to hit it at a high level for you. But please remember, right, there are going to be winners and losers here. You guys have the opportunity to get really serious about talent management, making it a key strength of your organization, and then focusing on doing those things to create a great culture in your organization. Because construction's a cool industry, right? I have a number of family members that are in the industry, and I will tell you, they love what they do. And they do cool stuff, right? You do some great stuff. And when younger people really understand and know and feel what you do, you have a lot to sell. So Focus on this, you will succeed. If you ignore this kind of stuff, it's only going to get worse. We know the numbers are going to get harder for all of us, right? So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Kevin. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference, and good luck as you wage this war for talent. Thank you.
Jim is right, construction is cool. Let's hear it one more time for Jim Miller. At this time, we would like to honor our 12 winning projects that appeared in Can Magazine Special Issue 2022. As I read the name of each winning team, would the project team please stand and be acknowledged? And then at the conclusion of today's meeting, if the project teams could meet us in the Sapphire Room, which is that corner room right there. We will present you with your plaques and take our publicity photos. So without further ado, let's get started. The first project to receive recognition today is Auto Owners Insurance Group, South Campus in Lansing. The project team delivered a stunning new workplace with the emphasis on natural light, a modular work environment, and sustainability. The building has a photovoltaic roof with more than 1,100 solar panels capable of producing enough kilowatts to power the equivalent of 70 single-family homes. The new 4-story facility has all the modern amenities of a flexible hybrid work environment for a quickly expanding company. The construction manager for the project is the Chrisman Company. The architect is Gensler. The engineers are Smith Group, Rubin Associates, Zendik Foster Engineering, and the owner is Auto Group Insurance Company. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The second project receiving recognition today is the Richard and Teresa Bart Center for Freshwater Research and Education at Lake Superior State University in Sault Ste. Marie. This new center is dedicated to sustaining the health of the Great Lakes and its fisheries through community engagement, research, and education. The facility's Great Lakes Discovery Center offers imperative displays and even live sturgeons swimming in an open pond-like tank. Researchers study harmful algae, microplastics, freshwater oil spills, and other threats to the Great Lakes. The center also offers unique educational opportunities for LSSU undergraduates along with K-12 programs and summer camps. The project team consists of Spence Brothers as construction manager. The architect and engineer on the project is Smith Group. The program manager is the Design and Construction Division of the State of Michigan's Department of Technology, Management, and Budget. And the owner of the project is Lake Superior State University. Would the project team please stand and be recognized? The third project receiving recognition today is the Clinton McComb Public Library North Branch in Macomb Township. The North Branch of the Clinton McComb Public Library anchors Macomb Township's growing town center located near the wetlands of the Clinton River. The geothermal heating and cooling system is part of the building's sustainable design. The building itself features an impressive 53-foot copper dome situated above a terrazzo medallion compass that represents the library's role as a crossroads for the community. The construction manager for the project is McCarthy and Smith. The architect is Quinn Evans, and the owner of the project is Clinton McComb Public Library. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The fourth project receiving recognition today is McLaren Greater Lansing Replacement Hospital in Lansing, Michigan. A powerhouse team joined forces to merge two hospitals into the new $601 million McLaren Greater Lansing Hospital. Prefabrication, design assist, digital technology, and lean principles shape the efficient, safe, and high-quality 9-story teaching health facility. The contractor for the project is a joint venture with Barton, Mallow, and Chrisman. The architects are HED and Grissom Smith. And the owner is McLaren Healthcare. The owner's representative was Kramer Management Group. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The fifth project receiving recognition today is the Ford House Visitor Center and Administration Building in Grosse Pointe Shores. Ford House's new Visitor Center and Administration buildings are a contemporary translation of the Cotswold architecture style adopted by Etzel and Eleanor Ford for their own family home, which is located just down the street from the new campus. With a lakefront restaurant, conference space, and exhibits telling the Ford family story, the new buildings offer visitors a memorable experience in a beautiful lakefront setting. The all-electric administration building is designed to achieve net zero energy certification, and both well-crafted buildings are designed to LEED Gold. The construction manager for the project is Frank Rewald and Sons. The architect, engineer, and sustainable consultant is Smith Group, and the owner is the Ford House. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The sixth project receiving recognition today is the HOG, Farmington Hills Community Center in Farmington Hills. Listen to live jazz music, take a spin class, or build muscle in the weight room in the new HOG Community Center. The fresh transformation of an underused school into a bustling community center offers a contemporary venue for visual and performing arts, aquatics, fitness, and indoor and outdoor athletics. The contractor for the project is Colasanti Construction Services. The architect is Integrated Design Solutions. The owner's rep on the project is Plant Marin Crescent, and the owner is the City of Farmington Hills. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The seventh project receiving recognition today is the Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA headquarters in Farmington Hills, Michigan. The new Mercedes-Benz Financial Services USA headquarters is a sleek, contemporary building embodying the prestigious global brand. The three-pronged star logo of Mercedes-Benz is recognizable the world over, and that simple yet powerful image influenced the design of the company's new 200,000 square foot headquarters. Eerie and spacious, the interior skillfully supports the collaborative way of working and a hybrid work model. The construction manager for the project is Kirk O'Mannix. The architect is Gensler. And the owner, developer, property manager is Olympia Development of Michigan. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The eighth project receiving recognition today is the Karmanos Cancer Institute at McLaren Greater Lansing, in Lansing. The team created a sophisticated, human and nature-centric healthcare facility to treat cancer patients. The light-filled atrium's vegetated wall and wood elements, along with the courtyard's lush landscaping, offers patients a sense of serenity rooted in the natural world. The construction manager for the project is Granger Construction. The architect, structural engineer, and MEP engineer is Smith Group. The owner's representative is Kramer Management Group, and the owner is McLaren Healthcare. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The ninth project receiving recognition today is GM Factory Zero. It's the launchpad for General Motors' multi-brand electric vehicle strategy. The making of GM's Factory Zero on property located both in Hamtramck and Detroit included renovations of more than 3 million square feet with additions of more than 800,000 square feet. The name Factory Zero reflects the significance of this facility in advancing GM's zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion future. The design build contract for the project is Walbridge. The design partner is Ghaffari Associates. The paint shop design builder is Gallagher Kaiser Corporation. The paint shop facility renovation was done by Walbridge. And the paint shop design partners are SSOE and Galen Associates. And of course, the owner is General Motors Corporation. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? Our 10th project receiving recognition today is KLA Corporation's second U.S. headquarters and Research and Development Center. It's in Ann Arbor, Michigan. KLA Corporation, a Silicon Valley-based Fortune 500 tech leader, brought a new artificial intelligence center of excellence and one of the largest clean rooms in Michigan to this heavily forested site in Ann Arbor Township. In creating KLA's new high-tech home in the woods, the team used low-impact development approach, vertical massing, and right-sized parking requirements to safeguard the natural site. The project team consists of Bartmello Builders. The architect is Smith Group, and the owner is KLA Corporation. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The 11th project receiving recognition today is the DTE Blue Water Energy Center of East China Township. DTE's Blue Water Energy Center is the state's first new power plant since the 1980s. Wow. The natural gas-fired combined cycle power plant is set to be the most fuel-efficient power plant in Michigan. The facility, located on the shores of the St. Clair River in East China Township, will replace 3 coal-fired power plants and will provide power to over 850,000 homes. The contractor for the project is Commercial Contracting Corporation. The architect engineer is Kiewit Power Constructors, and the owner is DTE Energy. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? The 12th and final project receiving recognition today is the Livonia Medical Center in Livonia. Located on the campus of Schoolcraft College, the Livonia Medical Center provides state-of-the-art health care for area residents and offers practical training in health sciences for Schoolcraft students, bringing together leading healthcare providers and services to offer a continuum of state-of-the-art care under one roof. The 4-story glass, brick, and aluminum facility is a well-constructed example of the merging of medical and academic communities in the 21st century. The construction manager for the project was Out Construction. The architect is Lindau Associate Architects, and the owner is Schoolcraft College and Trinity Health. Will the project team please stand and be recognized? Okay, so before we get into the actual project of the year, this year the voting team felt that one project was a standout in many ways for significant positive impact that this project has and will continue to have on the Great Lakes and the community in which it serves. And I'm pleased to present, and this is the first time we've done this, the CAM Magazine special issue, the CAM Magazine special recognition of community and environment impact to the project team of the Richard and Teresa Branch Center for Professional Research and Education. Congratulations to Spence Brothers University and West State University. In addition to the plaques, we have another gift or another plaque for you. So when we go in the other room, we'll get pictures of the whole group. Okay. And now it's time to announce our 2022 Project of the Year. As voted on by the CAM Magazine Editorial Advisory Committee and through member voting online, all 12 special issue projects for 2022 are eligible to win this award. Online voting took place throughout October, November, and December. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the CAM Project of the Year for 2022 is... the 4,000 joining on the stage quickly to get to the award. Okay, now it's time to turn our attention to our business portion. I know everybody wants to get out of here. I told you to. We might be a little over that right now, so I'll keep it moving quickly. At this time, I'd like to recognize the CAM Board of Directors. Would each director please stand as I call your name? And after all have been called, let's give them a well-deserved round of applause. Josh Barney of J.J. Barney Construction. Jeffrey Chandler of VTC Insurance Group. Michael Green of Johnny Green Company. Tricia Ruby of Ruby Associates. Chrissy Brown of International Building Products. Jerry Curatelli of Architectural Building Components, who is not with us today. He's in Florida, enjoying the sunshine. Matthew Kramer of D. Kramer. Frank Jonah of Jonah Companies. Teresa Miller of Plant Moran Pressa. Todd Willian of Cloverwood Properties. Jason Rewald of Frank Rewald and Sons. And Calvin Squires of Centerline Electric. Directors, we thank all of you for your contribution to the industry and to the Construction Association of Michigan. Let's hear it for them. The success of CAM is due in part to three organizations that help us service this membership and have since the very beginning. And they are CAM Comp, led by Janice Shaver. Construction Federal Credit Union, led by William Tomanek. And of course, our healthcare provider, Priority Health. Let's hear it for all three of those organizations. And as always, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the hardworking staff at CAM. Without these guys, none of this would be possible. I believe we have one of the hardest working staffs in the association business. Will the CAM staff please stand and be recognized? They're so tired they can't even stand up. It's unbelievable. Each year, 3 directors retire from CAM's board, and CAM members elect 3 new directors. Please join me in welcoming our newly elected members to the CAM Board of Directors. Will each of the new directors please stand as I call your name? The newly elected directors to the CAM Board are T.C. Baker from Baker Construction, Patrick Bell from Ideal Contracting, and Michael Joseph from Di Maria. Thank you all and welcome aboard. It is now my honor to introduce a man who has served our association well. Joshua Barney, Josh as he's affectionately known, was the 4th generation to work in his family's 93-year-old company, J.J. Barney Construction, which specializes in earthwork and concrete. Josh is one of our youngest serving CAM chairman of the board ever. He brought a fresh, interested, and engaged perspective to his position. He truly cares about our industry, and he really wants to make it a better place to work. It was my honor and privilege to work with him to restart our CAM contractor roundtable meetings and discussions. We also work closely with our labor partners, with the CAM Legislative Committee and our Michigan House and Senate allies, promoting our Michigan Construction Payment Act in an effort to get all contractors, generals, subs, suppliers, equipment dealers paid in a timely fashion. I enjoyed getting to know your wife Natalie, your family over the last several years, and look forward to your continued support and friendship for many years to come. On behalf of the Construction Association of Michigan, we thank you for your leadership, your guidance, and your dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, your chairman of the board, Josh Barney.
Thank you, Kevin, for that gracious introduction. It's important to me to thank people as I retire as chairman. First and foremost, I want to thank my wife, Natalie, and our 3 children for always supporting me and not complaining when I was consumed with work and involvement with CAM. I want to thank the CAM membership as a whole for
for your trust in electing me to serve on your board of directors, and of course the board of directors themselves for their trust in my leadership to serve as CAM's 2022 chairman. My classmates, Jeff Chandler, Mike Green, I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you for your support and your willingness to step in when I couldn't manage things on my own. I want to thank Kevin Kohler for your leadership, insights, friendship, faith in me to get the job done. Like Kevin said, definitely to the CAM staff. Working hard is important, but working kind is just as important. And every one of you nailed both. Thank you for being such a pleasure to work with. Over the past year, you've showed up, you've worked hard, you've supported your team, and you've knocked your goals out of the park. We're so lucky to have you. I can't wait to see what's coming next for CAM. A year ago, time flies. It seems like I was just up here. I stood at this podium in front of you, ready to change the way things were done at CAM and in the construction industry. Today I stand here knowing that, without a doubt, I'm the one that has changed. I really put everything I could into serving as your chairman, and in return, you all gave me opportunities, challenges, and friendships that will remain intact long after I have forgotten the joy of walking into our board meetings with this bright red coat on. CAM has a bright future ahead of it. Even though I won't be serving as your chairman any longer, I take solace in knowing that I had a hand in making the organization that it is today, just as you had a hand in making me the man that I am today. To our new chair, Tricia Ruby, I hope a year from now when you're saying your goodbye speech up here, you feel the same peace that I feel at this moment. I'm gonna miss the board of directors. It was a wonderful group of high character people. We had a lot of fun along the way. I'll miss seeing you guys, and I'll miss the discussions and the intellectual challenges that you provided. Really, thank you for 365 days of fun, camaraderie, and life-changing moments. It's now my duty and privilege as the outgoing chairman to announce the new members of CAM's board, the officers of CAM's board of directors. Will these gentlemen please stand as they are named and be recognized? Vice Chairman Matt Kramer, D. Kramer. Vice Chairman and my buddy Frank Jonah of Jonah Company. And CAM's new treasurer Todd Wendland of Clovequit Properties. Thank you and congratulations. Now it's my honor to introduce your 2023 chair of the board and my friend Tricia Ruby. Tricia Ruby is the president and CEO of Ruby & Associates, a WBE certified structural engineering firm founded in 1984. And now that I'm no longer the chairman, it's safe for me to say that I wasn't even born at that time. So. Serving in these roles since 2011, Tricia has strategically transformed the business and culture, resulting in a 300% revenue growth and attracting engineers from top universities throughout the region. In 2016, Ruby & Associates was ranked nationally and featured in Fortune magazine as a top 50 great place to work in the small companies category. And it's been certified as a great place to work for the past 6 years. Tricia is heavily involved in a variety of industry and community organizations besides CAM, including Judson Center, which is near and dear to my heart, the American Council of Engineering Companies, great but not as near and dear to my heart, American Institute of Steel Construction, and others. She believes strongly, and I appreciate this since I have a daughter, she believes strongly in encouraging girls and women to consider opportunities in STEM, and served as chair for the American Heart Association Go Red Go STEM event in 2018, aimed at empowering Detroit Public Schools Community District girls interested in STEM careers. That same year, Tricia, along with 4 other women, formed the American Council of Engineering Companies Women in Leadership Group, which provides a national forum for female engineering leaders to network and advises AEC leadership on advancing diversity initiatives. Tricia has been recognized throughout the years with honors and awards, but Kevin told me to keep it short, so I'll just name a couple. 2021 Women of Impact for the Lansing chapter of NAWIC, which is the National Association of Women in Construction. The American Council of Engineering Companies Community Service Award. The Girl Scouts of Southeastern Michigan, Tough Enough to Be a Girl Scout honoree. Cranes Detroit Notable Women in STEM honoree, and many, many, many more. So ladies and gentlemen, it's now my honor to introduce you to the one and only Miss Tricia Ruby.
It's all about the red coat. Are you guys ready? I think Kevin's here to death. Cool. Is this line on? Yes, yes. Well, that was a ridiculous introduction, but thank you, Josh. On behalf of the CAM Board of Directors, the CAM membership, and me personally, I'd like to thank you for, holy cow, your leadership, your passion, your activism throughout the last year as CAM Board Chair. You have set a new standard for involvement and visibility as a Board Chair. If there was an event, an outing, a meeting, or anything with a hint of CAM involvement, you were there representing CAM, strutting the red blazer with pride. Now, I'm pretty sure your motivation was to serve CAM, but I'm a little wondering if it was really about the magical red blazer. No doubt, right? For sure. So we are really honored to have this red blazer. Whatever the reason, you gave of your time and your heart, and I know I have really big shoes to fill. So thank you. And you can come up later and we'll do that thing. All right. It's my distinct honor and privilege to serve as your board chair in CAM's 138th year. And if you probably didn't notice, this part of the ballroom is the Ruby Ballroom, right here. So it was meant to be. It was meant to be. It's also an honor to only be the second woman to lead this association in its long history, and perhaps an even bigger honor to be the first engineering firm to hold this gavel. The last one was in 1989. I was in high school, and Josh, for the record, I was in 8th grade in 1984, so I wasn't that old then, so. All right, but thanks for pointing that out. I want to give thanks to my board classmates, Vice Chairman Matt Kramer, D. Kramer, and Vice Chairman Frank Jonah of Jonah Companies. Either one of you could be standing up here with me right now, but I'm honored to represent our class as we jointly serve CAM this year, because I know I won't be doing this alone. Right, Frank? I got it, Frank? We're not doing this alone, right? You're my brothers, got it. So in 1885, CAM was founded to serve the building and construction industry, to serve a need and fill a gap. And almost exactly 100 years later, in 1984, as Josh pointed out, Ruby & Associates was founded by my father as a structural engineering firm to serve a need and fill a gap, to provide services to the construction industry. We have been a proud member of CAM since our founding in 1984, because this is our industry and you are our people. So speaking of people, I would not be standing here today if it weren't for the amazing Ruby team. Our Team Ruby, as we call ourselves, because of the amazing work that you do and the incredible service that you provide to our clients every day to help our clients build better, I can hold my head high in every room that I go in, filled with people from our industry. And when I walk into those rooms, I frequently am told of a story of how we saved the day. And by we, I mean you, clearly, because I'm not doing it. Oftentimes, I get acknowledgement of what a great team of people we have, and I couldn't agree more. We have an amazing team. You all know I believe in public praise, and it doesn't get more public than this. and I never get a chance to do this. So, thank you for all you do to enable me to get to do things like this. It is my joy and privilege to work with each of you, and how thankful am I. So can I get please a round of applause for Team Ruby? Thank you, guys. They're the best. So 20 plus years ago, when I changed careers and became part of this wonderful construction community, all I knew of CAM was this thick buyer's guide and the phone number. And what would happen is people would call our office and they would ask for a residential structural engineer, which we don't do. So we would politely tell them, and by we I mean Beth, our admin who's here today, she would say, call the Construction Association of Michigan. So to whomever was answering the phone at CAM, here's my official confession that it was us. And to those residential structural engineers who are members of CAM, thank you for being members, and you're welcome for the referral. So I've learned a lot about CAM in the last 2 decades through our firm's continued involvement and engagement in what CAM has to offer. And I thought I had a pretty good idea of everything until I got elected to this board. And then I went through board orientation and was blown away. You all watched the video. Advocacy in Lansing, safety training, online news and plan room, a credit union, labor negotiations, workers' comp insurance, health insurance, networking roundtables, economic forecasts, a buyer's guide app, and CAM Connect, a private platform only for CAM members to connect and collaborate. Those are only the highlights. What Kevin and the CAM staff do to support this industry and each of our firms is absolutely remarkable. How fortunate we are to have such a supportive organization advocating for our industry, helping us to run our business and become better leaders. I recognize what a privilege it is to become the board chair of this essential organization. Each board chair strives to make a difference, and they no doubt have each been successful. I promise to dedicate myself to do what's in the best interest of our membership. I want to share with you how I will be focusing our efforts this year. So number one, as your board chair and member of the Government Affairs Committee, I will continue to focus on advocacy in Lansing, and in particular, with support of the legislature, I am confident that we will finally pass the Michigan Construction Payment Act. In addition to advocacy in Lansing, I will use this platform to advocate for different voices in our industry. We have a labor shortage, you've heard it today by Jim Bitterly, and you all know it from just working every day. And we need to attract new faces to our industry and our companies. We can do that through more diverse hiring practices and through support of and involvement in organizations that are working to attract students who are future employees to our industry. And as an association, we will look for opportunities to support those efforts and share those opportunities with our members to get involved. We will also continue, number three, we'll also continue the great work that Josh restarted with the construction industry roundtables. These have helped our firm leaders share ideas and best practices, and also helped inform CAM on what is top of mind for future planning. But number four, the biggest lift of the year will be to embark on a strategic planning process for CAM. I believe in the power of strategic planning, and as we embrace this year's theme, the challenge of change, our planning will ensure that we set the right priorities for CAM and our board to continue serving our membership into the future. One of Ruby's core values is to embrace challenges, and I am excited to get started. With these areas of focus, the goal of every CAM board is to also increase membership, and I am no different. I believe in the power of numbers, and I believe in the value of being a member of the Construction Association of Michigan. So as CAM members, I have some assignments for you too. Team Ruby might tell you I'd like to delegate a bit, and you all showed up today, so listen up. So my assignment to you is, number one, to engage with each other. Relationships in this business are everything. So take every opportunity to attend CAM events, outings, classes, seminars, including the March 9th Future of Work Conference, which has been featured today. Number two, let CAM know what you want from your membership. Speak to a board member or any staff member. We want to hear from you. What can we do to better serve you and your company's needs? And number three, explore all CAM has to offer. After all, this is your association. My ultimate goal for you is to grab your membership by the horns. We're going to keep it clean, Kevin, I promise. Just this once. So my first act as your board chair will be to recognize the 3 directors who today retire from the CAM Board of Directors. They have worked hard for this venerable organization during the past 4 years, and they deserve our sincere gratitude for the time and energy they devoted to CAM. We would like to present each of them with a token of our appreciation for their service to the Construction Association of Michigan. Will Vice Chairman Jeff Chandler of VTC Insurance Group please come forward? Will Vice Chairman Mike Green of Johnny Green Companies please come forward? And finally, my glasses on. Please join me in congratulating outgoing Chairman Josh Barney on a fine job as chairman for the last year. Josh, please come forward. All right, congratulations to the special issue award recipients. You are to head to the Sapphire Room immediately following to collect your plaques. That's over there, and have photos taken. And for the rest of you, be sure to visit the trade show booths. There are great networking opportunities out there on the floor. This brings to close the 137th annual meeting of the Construction Association of Michigan. There being no further business to conduct today, I declare this meeting adjourned.
Keep us together. Now we can beat them just for one day. We can be heroes just for one day. Yeah. We can be heroes. Yeah. I said, we can be heroes just for one day. We can be heroes. And nothing and no one will help us. Maybe we're lying, then you better not stay. Heroes just for one day. We could be heroes, but all I can remember. standing by the wall. And the guns shot above our heads. And we kissed as though nothing could fall.